Hello, welcome back. It's Tabby. So I decided to start a series called The Money Diaries, and this is because I'm not always going to have a big announcement about paying off a big chunk of my student loans. Sometimes it's the slow and steady game. I wanted to focus on topics that were relevant with money, and today we are going to be talking about giving and free things to do during a pandemic. One thing I've learned during this pandemic is the importance of giving, even when you don't have a lot. And I think sometimes my mindset can go towards, I need to get to a certain place financially in order for me to give, instead of being like, I might not have a lot to give, but I'm going to give something. And that, I think especially during this pandemic, I've really been forced to think more about how I want to, spend my money and how I want to give. And a big thing for me that I've noticed is that when I don't have a lot to give and I give, I'm okay. And I'm not really, it's really confusing. And I remember there was a study done or an article that they wrote about how companies found the benefit of giving even if you weren't doing good. And I think that for me, it's attributed to, my beliefs, my religious beliefs as a Christian, of how we're supposed to give as Christians and how we're supposed to give even when we don't have a lot. And it's all about your heart posture and how you want to give back, and having that heart of giving back even when you don't have a lot. That's something that's just always been very impactful for me, and I would say even more so now that I'm managing my own finances. So anyway, as I'm talking right now, is that I want to give some of my money away. So I want to, I'm not sure if I'm going to tithe it or if I'm going to find an organization that I want to support. A really big thing in this new year that has been on my heart is to give back to my community. So I live in Seattle, and if you live in Seattle or know anything about Seattle, there are so many needs. Every day when I go outside, I see people who are living on the streets, and there's so many social problems here. And even this past year with Black Lives Matter, just how much of there is a need to support different organizations financially. So definitely want to save my money, but I also believe that giving is important too. So yes, I will probably be doing that. And this is good that I'm saying this out loud, because sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, I need to give, but then I forget to give. So this is really good that I'm talking about this. I also want to talk about free things to do during a pandemic. If you're at home like most of us are, it can get really boring, and thankfully I've found some creative things to do during a pandemic, which has really helped me stay sane. And the number one thing I've been doing is going for walks. Now, growing up, going for walks seemed like, okay mom, I don't want to go for a walk right now. But now I love them because, first of all, it gets me outside. Second of all, there are so many cool buildings. I live here in Seattle. There are so many cool buildings here in Seattle to just look out. And if you're anything like me, I love good architecture, and I think it's definitely a feast for the eyes here. Another free thing to do is to cook a meal at home. Now, yes, this does cost money to get the initial ingredients, but if you already have the ingredients, then cook a meal at home. One of my favorite things to do is, I don't really do it on purpose, but sometimes I just forget to go grocery shopping and I only have a few ingredients left in my pantry, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna channel my inner I call my grandma Baba, my inner Baba, and cook what I have. And so last night I made chicken adobo, which is a Filipino dinner item, and I made it with rice and frozen vegetables I had in the freezer, and I made that with my boyfriend, and it turned out really good. And yeah, I just encourage you to cook at home. It's really fun, especially if you do it with people obviously in your immediate household. Yeah, it's a great time. And get creative too, like look up really cool recipes. And I know that I really like to get takeout food, but that can become really expensive, especially as I'm trying to save money and pay off my debts. So making meals at home is ideal. Another really fun free thing to do during the pandemic is have a sip and paint night. Just grab some watercolors, or if you don't have watercolors, just some like pen and paper, and grab a nice bottle of wine or kombucha or beer, water, whatever is your fancy, and yeah, let those creative juices flow. I know that's really relaxing for me, and especially during all these chaotic times, it can really put you at ease. So do that. In other news, I just reorganized all my loans and put them in a spreadsheet, so that's super exciting. And we're just figuring out this financial stuff. Follow me if you want to learn it. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. I do a little happy dance every time someone subscribes. And yeah, keep following me on my financial journey. Until next time, see you later.